angel coming for to sing his song. I can hear the drummer drumming. He's coming, and it won't be long. Hear the cry across the nations. People wanna be free, yeah. Free to leave the great plantations. Free to be who they want to be. I see it, sweet sound of freedom, and it won't be long.
My, oh my, things are heating up. Oh my goodness, I wasn't planning on coming on today. Were you planning on coming on today? Who is this crazy lady in the sky? She's talking about 1871 corporations. She's talking about Space Force. She's talking about being on special task forces with the DOD. She's talking about a lot of crazy stuff. Who is this lady to whom I refer? There she is. Her name is Jan Halper Hayes. She ain't real tall. She's real smart. Folks, listen, I'm under strict orders. I got to be quick. I got to move fast. I can't get lost on rants. So here's what I'm going to do. I think it was the Thursday or Friday of last week. Jan Halper Hayes, who you're going to learn a lot about. That's her pictured right there with President Trump. She gave an explosive 10-minute interview. I'm going to try to post the link. I just posted the whole 10 minutes on Rumble. It's other places, but I'm going to post it in a link in the comments so that you can see it. But you are going to hear some very, very, very explosive stuff. We got a lot of ground to cover, so let's see. Oh, I
hear the sweet sound of freedom, and it won't be long.
Holy smokes, we got people all the way from California. Hi, Karen. We've got Shannon from Ohio and Melody. So there you go. Listen, let me just do this. I've got 6 clips. The last one, folks, they're all doozies, but the last one is a doozy. Okay, so please hang in there for the whole time. I'm really under strict orders to keep this short. So let me play the first clip and then we'll talk about it. Here we go.
What he's being accused of. But what part do you think is to answer that the 2020 election is going to be litigated because of this? They've made a huge mistake with this one, because even though we thought what was going to happen was they were going to go after him for treason or sedition, but they did criminally charge him, but they didn't go to that extreme. As a result, he has due process, so he can subpoena people and bring things in.
I just got to point out, I came on here on Friday night, I think it was, celebrating Trump's indictment, and I said they have stepped in it, and it's their own fault, but all of this 2020 is going to be relitigated right before our very eyes. And Jack Smith is so skewed. I've been saying retarded lately. Okay, because we used to say that when I was a kid. I mean, no offense by that, but he really stepped into it big time. They're going to relitigate the whole thing. And Jan Halper Hayes, who does
now, let me say something about this 2020 election.
I'm going to play this one right here.
It's a great mistake by Jack Smith that he's done that. Absolutely great. See, the thing is, think about Edward Snowden and all the information he had. Think about the fact that our military, our Department of Defense, Space Force, if you think that they don't have the actual real results from the election, then you're fooling yourself.
Yeah, but
okay, does that kind of speak for itself? And by the way, she's given this interview. I'm not even going to play any of them. I don't know if you'll see any of the 2 hosts. This was from GBN, I believe it is. It's a British network, and Nigel Farage is one of their featured people, and they're just blowing it up over there. But still, these 2, there was a reporterette and an anchor man, and they're just totally clueless. And folks, I'm going to tell you, we're just starting to get into this. She's going to say some stuff, and here's what's so cool. if you're awake, you're going to understand some things that are being said. There was no way I was going to play the entire 10 minutes on if Facebook or YouTube or any of these platforms, because I want to shoot it down. But it's if you're at all awake, you're going to understand what she's saying. But these two British anchors, that it just went right over the top of their heads. But I'm going to keep it rolling because the real meat and potatoes is coming up. But just listen closely to what this lady has to say. Here we go.
He's being criticized because in Georgia, he said, can you find me 12,000 votes? Or, the thing is, he didn't try to subvert anything. What he's really done is he set up the deep state to come out, and that's why we're seeing all these things.
Okay. It's just and I'm going through some of the comments last couple of programs. It's exactly what we've all been saying. He gets to subpoena. Jack Smith stepped in it. It's all going to come out. And I love the words that she said. Really, what's happening is he has set up the deep state. I'm going to go back 2 programs ago. I said, get excited, folks. You need to get excited. Indictments, I hope they bring more. I hope they bring a lot more because, well, she's going to give it away here in a minute, because remember how they would say, every court in the land shot down claims of these baseless claims. Every court in the land shot it down. I believe this is the clip where this lady is going to set that straight. But one of the reasons that they say that, although it's not true, is because many of those court cases never got heard in court. They would claim there was no standing, but and this, I believe this lady's going to, in this next clip, is going to explain, you have to have standing, which means you have to show that you were somehow harmed. Well, guess what? Our dearly beloved president, Donald J. Trump, has been harmed and he's been indicted. So he is entitled to his day in court. So guess what? It's going to be litigated right before our very eyes. Let's go to clip number next.
Is that, I sit on a task force at the Department of Defense. And the thing is, they've got the goods. They've got the goods. And Trump knew that if he presented any of the goods early on, we'd have a civil war. That he really felt that the people needed to see how bad it could get.
We got to stop. You know what? I'm just going to play that whole thing again.
And the thing is that, I sit on a task force at the Department of Defense. And the thing is, they've got the goods. They've got the goods. And Trump knew that if he presented any of the goods early on, we'd have a civil war. That he really felt that the people needed to see how bad it could get.
All right. If you are participating live, and I did this primarily so I could repost, but if you're live with me, if you feel like she just said something that we've been saying for a long, long time, please type yes in the comments. So I'm going to make one comment. Earlier, I don't think I grabbed the clip, but she said, think about Ed. Okay, first of all, the subject is relitigating stuff that they thought was pushed under the rug, 2020. And she said, think about Edward Snowden and all the information that we have. Edward Snowden showed us that everything is captured. There's a capture of everything. Your cell phone data. I don't know how many times my wife and I have been talking about a recipe or talking about something else. And she's always got her iPad there. 20 minutes later, we're looking at an advertisement for what we were just talking about. And sometimes I'll actually look at the iPad and say, take that, NSA. And then Jan Halper Hayes said, I sit on a task force for the Department of Defense. Now, folks, kind of think maybe my title's wrong because I referred to her jokingly as the crazy lady in the sky. She sits on a Department of Defense task force. She also mentions Space Force. Somebody told me this today. It seems right. I don't know if I can confirm it, so you go out and confirm it. Here's a question. Have you ever heard Joe Biden say the words Space Force? There are people that say with a lot of confidence, I just haven't researched it. There's a people that say with a lot of confidence that Joe Biden has never said Space Force. Why might that be? Where is Space Force? Are they out in space? Do they control space? If they control space, is it possible? Where are satellites? I think they're out in space. I think they do whatever they do, business they conduct it in space. Maybe Space Force has something to do with satellites, and maybe satellites have something to do with communications and data transfer and all of that. And this crazy lady in the sky, she's actually not crazy at all. She's close with President Trump, and she says they got it. She says they got it. And earlier she said they knew that President Trump knew that if he shared all the information all at once, there might be people couldn't handle it. She used the word civil war. Okay, I'm talking more than I want to talk, because the real doozy is still to come.
Say something about this 2020 election is that Biden is the legitimate president, but he's the legitimate president of what is now the bankrupt U.S. corporation. And that was a treaty in 1871. Well, on September 12, 2018, Trump created an executive order. Within that, he outlined in future elections any kind of foreign or domestic interference, specifically for the 2020 election. So we say, how did he know some of these things were going to happen? Election integrity on both sides of the aisle is tough. It's really tough. But what this has done is it's opened the door for Trump to present his case.
Oh, my goodness. Folks, so much was right there. Please, will you do me a favor? Find 10 people you can share this episode to. Please do that right now. Share it right now. Folks, we're getting a buzz going. I'm just playing my teeny tiny little bitty part here, but the buzz is growing. Folks, this is the story of the year right here. This is the story of the year right here. I'm going to post just in a moment a link where you can watch the interview, but you'll have to find GBN. But if you just Google it up, I don't use Google, I use Dogpile, but Jan Halper Hayes, and it'll start coming up because the search engine is starting to pick up on it. But did you notice that she just mentioned the 1871 corporation? We ain't supposed to be even knowing about that, although we've known about it for years now. But she just talked about the 1871 corporation being bankrupt. We ain't supposed to be talking about that. We ain't supposed to be knowing about that. But here she is talking about it. But if you want to hear if she really lets some cats out, watch out, there's cats, because they've been let out of the bag. This one runs longer. I'm going to let it run, and then we're going to talk about it. And I'm going to try to find that link and post it for you. Here we go.
Man that you believe, I mean, look, he's about as believable as a chocolate teapot, isn't he?
Look, I know that, thank God you got the negativity in at the end and not the beginning. I can always count on you for that. Always.
But it's a legitimate point to say that Donald Trump is a man who always speaks the truth. That can't be the case. I mean, it's hardly the case of any leader, to be fair, but, I mean, definitely not Donald Trump.
Well, I don't know if I said everything or always, because I do call him the embellisher-in-chief, because he's a marketer. But in terms of telling us things, optics, you better believe that he's very much a straight shooter in terms of actions that he's going to take or what he thinks needs to be done. You know, they made fun of him because they assumed he broke protocol and walked in front of the Queen. No, if you go back and look at it, you will see he looked at her. She gave a wave with her hand. He proceeded. She took a couple of steps, he stopped, and he waited for her to join. That was an optic to tell us that he then was going to bankrupt the U.S. corporation, because it was the Vatican, the Crown, and the U.S. that was part since 1871. And we were giving you our tax dollars. We were paying back. You know, forget this Tea Party and without taxation, without representation. We owed you a lot of money because you helped us in the Civil War. And so that is what Trump has now, he told the Queen, I'm ending this. We're dissolving this corporation. We're going to go back to being a republic, and we'll all be separate. The Pope wasn't happy. You should find the picture of him visiting the Pope. It took 650 planes to remove our gold from the Vatican Bank.
I'm not very happy about it, Jan, to be perfectly honest. We could do with your money at the minute. Keep it flowing, I say. Jan Halper-Hayes, really good to see you. Thank you very much indeed.
You too.
All right, we gonna chat for just a little bit to bring this into a close, folks. I just posted in the link, but actually, if you just went back to the video, I just saw it. GBN, that is the network. If you were to type in on Dogpile GBN, Jan Halper hyphen Hayes, it'll take you to the interview, but I just posted this on Rumble. There's no views on it. That's not the point. I just want you to be able to hear the whole thing. But let me ask you a question. Do you think that those two British anchors, she talked about the dissolving of the 1871 corporation, and he said, well, I don't like the fact that we're not getting your money anymore. Do you think they even had a clue what she was talking about? And listen, she actually said 650 plane loads of gold coming from the Vatican. Do you think she's crazy? Is she that crazy lady in the sky? I don't think so. I got to do this before we close in a minute. This is my new theme verse. I'm going to play it for you right now.
The one enthroned in heaven laughs. The Lord taunts them. Then he rebukes them in his anger and terrifies them in his fury.
Okay, I'm loving that right there. So I want to go back to a comment. I saw 112 Lime said, it said, is that true? Yeah. And I think there was another one said, I hope that it's true. Listen, folks, things are happening. I don't know about you, but I feel like I'm walking in a channel that's already been laid out for me. The Lord directs our steps. These are prophetic times here. This is big, big stuff. In that same interview, she reiterated what I was talking about just last night about Biden. All this stuff about Biden, it ain't going away. All the stuff about Hunter, it ain't going away. And all the stuff about 2020 is not going away. It's growing. It's a snowball. It's an avalanche. It's not going away. And then this bit, listen, while we're kind of like, really? Is this really? What? And trying to be hopeful, can you flip the coin over for just a minute? Because while we might be, that sounds interesting. That sounds like what we talked about before. That sounds hopeful. On the other side of the coin, there are people that are peeing their pants with fear. I'm sorry, that's a phrase I'm comfortable using. How do you think old Joe's handlers are handling this right now? How do you think the deep state is handling it right now? How well do you think Jack Smith is going to sleep tonight? It's very, very exciting. Okay, I'm going to keep my word. Please share this. Get this word out. This is like I don't know. It's like a little match in the dry forest. This is going somewhere. There's already a lot of stories about it. I'm just doing my teeny little part, but get this information out there. It scares them. They can't stand it. Thank you very much for joining me, but please help share the program. And until next time, if you're in Ohio, get your tush out there and vote yes on issue 1. Haven't talked about it much. Other people have. It's extremely important. Get out there and vote. And until next time, God bless you. God bless your family. God bless the state of Ohio, and God bless the United States of America, which is becoming a republic and not a bankrupted corporation. Good night, y'all.
I hear the sweet sound of freedom, and I won't be